What up? What up? Hope everybody doing good. Want to talk a little UFC with you guys. Before we get started, I need you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help me grow the channel. I want to talk about Israel Adesanya. Last night, Israel suffered his first loss at UFC 259. You know, the middleweight champion came short in his bid to become the fifth double champ. You know, Israel already was a champion in the middleweight division, so he was moving up to the light heavyweight division trying to get a belt. After the fight, you know, Israel, he made no excuses. His opponent, Jan Blachowicz, you know, he wouldn't allow Israel to counter and dictate the fight like he had done so many times in the past. So basically, Jan Blachowicz, he was prepared for Israel counters. You know, Israel good. Like if you throw a punch or a kick, Israel counter right back. And Jan Blachowicz defense was so strong, he basically wouldn't let Israel get his counters in. It was a huge risk for Israel to move up in class and fight a light heavyweight. Like I said, you know, Israel moved up from the middleweight division to the light heavyweight division. He took a big chance. You know, Dana White said after the fight, it never hurt for someone trying to be great. You know, Dana White has a lot of love for Israel. Dana White also said that size is a factor and felt Jan Blachowicz was the bigger and stronger man. So Dana White pretty much know what everybody else know. You know, the guy had more strength and more power over Israel. You know, Israel, he disagreed with what Dana White said. He said Blachowicz defense was better than he thought. You know, basically Israel gave Jan Blachowicz his props. He didn't make no excuses. Israel took this loss like a man. You know, most people, you know, they would have been ranting and raving after the fight. The referee did this, or the judge cheated me this. You know, Israel offered none of the such. You know, he stood in the middle of the ring and at his press conference and in his interviews, you know, and he offered insight on the loss. And, you know, he wasn't ready. He was off his game. Israel, you know, didn't have his normal explosion. You know, Israel is quick in the ring. You know, he gets off his punches and kicks real good. You know, he was slow to the draw. And basically, Jan Blachowicz outsmarted Israel last night. He outwitted him. You know, he showed Israel when you step up to the big boy league, this is what it is. You know, Israel just got to go back to the lab and work on a few things to be able to handle these light heavyweight guys. You know, Israel has ran through the middleweight division the last few years, and now he's trying to make this big jump right here, and it's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be easy for him. You know, Israel wasn't able to land any solid shots. You know, Israel has power, and he wasn't able to get any power shots in on Jan Blachowicz. Toward the end of the fight, Jan Blachowicz started taking Israel to the mat. He knew he had the size on him. He knew he had the power on him. So he wasn't going to sit there and just throw blows and throw strikes with Israel. He out-wrestled him. He took him to the mat. You know, he get the for sure win. You know, most guys want to try to entertain the crowd, knowing they can't stand up with some guy that has a better stand-up game with him and try to go both blow for blow, but ego make them do it, and then they take a loss. But Jan Blachowicz was smart, man. He said, well, you know, why trade strikes when I know I can beat you on the mat? You know, John Jones, you know, he got a kick out of Israel losing after I seen him, you know, make a smart remark about Israel on Twitter. Israel also said he still wants to fight John Jones in the near future. I don't know if Israel ready for John Jones, man. That's yet to be determined. But for right now, Israel need to be working on a rematch with Jan Blachowicz. You know, quick as he can, he need to get back in the ring with this guy and try to redeem himself. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think Israel and Jan Blachowicz should have a rematch? Also, man, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Help me grow the channel. And thank you.